Are set to return to school on Monday, but concerns on available public transport still pose a challenge. Major supermarkets have agreed to sell sugar at the suggested retail price of 70 pesos per kilo. The Philippine National Police says the alleged kidnapping incident in Batangas is just an isolated case. And oil industry players expect an increase in pump prices next week, ending consecutive weeks of rollbacks. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. Public transport systems in Metro Manila are gearing up for the influx of commuters as classes start next week. More in this report by Gerald de la Peña.
Students who have returned to in-person classes are finding a hard time commuting. Among them is May, a medtech student from a university in Caloocan.
Ayun ko, sobrang hirap po. Kahit malapit lang po ako. Kulang pa rin po yung jeep na sasakyan. Kaya ang ginagawa ko na lang po, nagbabas na lang po.
Commuting is bound to get tougher with the formal reopening of classes nationwide on Monday. With this, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board has released a memorandum circular ordering the resumption of trips of almost 70 pre-pandemic jeepney routes. This includes jeepney routes from Cubao to Recto via España, Quiapo to Blumentritt via Dimasalang, and Pasay Rotonda up to Manila Central University. Drivers like Tatay Elmer Cordero welcome this development. Cordero was one of the so-called Piston 6 who were apprehended and detained during the peak of lockdowns for protesting on the streets.
Maligaya kami mga driver dahil sa loob ng 2 taon, ngayon lang mangyari na pinayagan kami na buksan. Dahil katulad ngayon, kawawa yung mga pasahero. Hirap na hirap.
Aside from PUJ routes, the LTFRB has also opened up 33 bus routes that will pass through schools and universities. But this morning, only 2 operators came to the LTFRB's offices to secure special permits. The LTFRB said its offices will remain open during the weekend to give ample time for operators to submit requirements.
Nakipag-ugnayan na po kami sa lahat ng mga operators natin na involved po dyan sa bubuksan natin mga ruta. So basically, alam na po nila yung mga ruta na bubuksan. Ngayon, yung mga dating ruta na dire-diretso, magbabalik na po sila. So hanggang University Belt na po yung ating mga ruta na bubuksan.
LTFRB Chair Cheloy Garafil says they are planning to add 100 more units at the EDSA busway. Meanwhile, railways are also ready for the expected increase in passengers. The MRT3 management expects 2,000 more passengers will be added to the daily volume. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Meanwhile, the MMDA expects to have their hands full next week as some transport groups have yet to secure special franchises. In an interview with A Big Story, MMDA Task Force Special Operations Chief Bong Enebrija said the reopening of pre-pandemic routes may have been announced a little too late. He also cited the lack of coordination with transport groups as a reason for why they have yet to secure special permits.
Maybe the announcement was too late or there was no prior coordination with the transport groups or cooperatives. But then again, Robbie, that's also what worries me come Monday because they might just ply their routes without securing special permits or franchise. They might be apprehended for colorum operation.
Meanwhile, despite the expected increase in traffic, Nebrija said they cannot add any more enforcers on the road.
We cannot add any more enforcers. Our deployment is really thinly stretched right now because we have so many taskings on our hands.
The Transportation Department warns the public that there's a looming shortage of beep cards. In a statement, the agency said this is because of a global problem in chip supply. The DOTR said beep card provider AF Payments failed to deliver 75,000 beep cards last month because of the supply issue. The department said they are looking for other ways to address the increased demand for beep cards. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Major supermarket chains in the country have committed to selling cheaper sugar. Malacanang said that SM Supermarket, Robinson Supermarket, and Pure Gold have all agreed to sell sugar at the suggested retail price of 70 pesos per kilo. The SRP will take effect in Metro Manila next week and will be in place until inventory runs out. The Trade Department said a purchase limit of 1 kilo per consumer will be implemented to discourage people from hoarding. Meanwhile, authorities say the abduction and killing incident in Batangas may not be a case of kidnapping. PNP spokesperson Police Colonel Jean Fajardo told 1PH that the incident had a different pattern from that of kidnapping. The PNP is also looking into illegal activities and the involvement of armed groups as possible motives for the killing.
Doon naman po sa incident, sir, sa Taal, Batangas, kasalukuyan pa rin po yung iniimbestigahan ng ating kapulisan, and we consider this an isolated case. Hindi po ito matatawag na kidnapping.
Heads up, motorists, the series of rollbacks in fuel prices may end next week. Oil industry players see diesel prices increasing by more than 2 pesos per liter, while gasoline prices are expected to go up by up to 25 centavos per liter. If approved, this will put a stop to 7 consecutive weeks of diesel price rollback and 2 straight weeks of a decline in gas prices. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.